Okay, here we are at the Golf Science Centre in Melbourne. The Golf Science Centre is also the home of Henry Griffitts Club Assembly. You'll notice all of these names here. These are names of PGA Tour players, whether it be European Tour or Nationwide Tour, PGA Tour. Every single one of these players has had their shafts SST cured. Now, here at Henry Griffitts, we're lucky to have the only SST curing machine in the southern hemisphere. Now, every shaft in the manufacturing process has a spine that's created by a flat piece of, whether it's graphite or steel, being formed into the cylinder. So that spine, combined with other irregularities such as the straightness of the shaft, the roundness of the shaft, the stiffness of the shaft, all of those irregularities can cause or will cause the shaft to enter into the impact zone inconsistently. Ideally, this shaft should enter into the impact zone like a knife just slicing through butter. But I'll put this shaft in the curing machine, and I'll just place it in the position that it would normally go into the golf club with the logo up. And you'll notice when I deflect this shaft shouldn't oscillate, it should just go backwards and forwards or sideways. But you'll notice this shaft initially starts off straight, but then it's oscillating, and pretty violently. So that's a shaft that needs some serious SST curing. Now, I've got a little tip I can show you. We'll go off into the Golf Science Centre, so follow me. So we're in the Golf Science Centre. This ruler here gives you a really good visual as to what's important with the SST curing. This ruler has got a spine on the left hand side. It's actually got two spines, one on the left, one on the right there. If you imagine that ruler was a golf shaft, had a head on the end of it, and if I just swing that ruler on that plane there, no resistance at all, it's just like a knife slicing through butter. As soon as I have that spine sitting in a position other than horizontal, and if I load that ruler backwards and forwards, it's wobbling all over the place. I can feel a lot of resistance at various points throughout that motion. So obviously a golf shaft isn't going to perform in that exact same way, but that really gives you a good visual as to what, the dynamics of what does happen through the impact zone. And if you consider that a golf shaft's entering into impact at well over 100 miles an hour, and all the dynamics of what happens to a golf shaft through impact, it's critical that it does slice through impact rather than have this oscillating. So we'll go back to the curing machine and we'll pure a shaft and see how the curing process actually works. Okay, so we've got the same shaft that we used before. I'll insert it into the curing machine with the logo up. Press start. The first part of the process here is testing the roundness of the shaft and testing for any irregularities. It's going to ask me now to find that logo up position, which is there. Okay, I'm going to select the type of shaft that it is. Flex. Graphite. And it's for a 3 wood. So this first part of the process here, it's just testing for those irregularities, the roundness of the shaft, the stiffness of the shaft. This graphic here if this shaft was ideal, that line there would have been dead straight. So those curvatures show the imperfections in the shaft. Just going to place this weight on here, simulates the weight of the wood head, and then we'll go through the process of finding the pured position, the perfect spot to align the shaft. So you can see there initially it's wobbling quite a lot. That oval shape up here should gradually get narrower and narrower the closer it comes to finding the pured position. So we started off at about 3.5 up here, and now it's down to 0.46, really narrowing down the position. And this here is just moving at just tiny little increments, just literally a half a millimetre at a time now, to narrow it down. You can see here that it's really oscillating, or it's not oscillating, it's just going straight back and through compared to what it was before. That's a huge improvement. Okay, so it's found the perfect spot. So it's put a mark on the top there, which I'll just go over in texture, just to highlight it even more. So basically that's the spot there. When I glue in the club, that black line will be facing straight out in front. That means that basically the spine, or the strongest part of the shaft, is on the left hand side here, target side. So if you imagine a whole set of golf clubs that is pured, and every single club comes through impact the same way, the improvement you're going to have on the consistency of your shots. You saw earlier when the shaft was bobbling all over the place. If you had a set of clubs where one or two or three of the clubs were by accident aligned somewhere near correctly and were coming through impact nicely, those clubs would probably be your favourite clubs, the ones that you hit nicely. The rest of the clubs that are not pured well or haven't been pured, coming through impact inconsistently, you've got no chance of playing consistent golf. So even though you've probably spent a couple of $1,000s on your set of golf clubs, if they haven't been pured, you're really going to find it difficult to play consistent golf. So if it's good enough for all of these guys, it's good enough for you.